Yeah. If you're new here, come on in. Pull up a chair, let the fun begin. I'm Zach Shaw, that's the name. Show you how I grow day by day. Learn with me, watch me rise. Little wins right before your eyes. Stay a while, you'll see the view. I'm growing fast and I want you to.
Yes, my people, your boy is back in full effect. How's your weekend going? I've just been chilling, just rattling my head, man. I know I've already said this on my channel already, but I'm just trying to kind of like map out what my future looks like, right? Especially with this new e-commerce brand. And like, I keep going around in circles with the stock situation. If you're new here, obviously, my name's Zach. I'm building an e-commerce brand from zero. It's a stock-based brand. I am basically just working a 9 to 5 to fund this brand, right? So I'm doing everything bootstrapped from literally just like a standard wage, right? So I'm obviously restricted on how much inventory I can buy based on my cash flow. Unfortunately, I don't have the best credit, so I can't really rely on any credit cards or any bank loans. However, we work with what we want to work with. To say all of that to say is, if you don't know, I have ordered 500 units, right? And they are on their way from China to the UK. The bottleneck at the moment is people, yeah? I've said it already, I'll say it again. It's production time and shipping time. Based on my unit economics, based on my unit economics, like, and everything, I'm in a situation where basically production takes 30 days and shipping via sea from China to the UK is 30 to 35 days. So we're looking all in total, you're looking about 70 days. I know when you say it out loud, it's mental. 70 days cycle from when you order from your supplier to when the product comes to the UK to start selling again is insane. And I'm like, I understand it's part of my journey, and I understand it's based on the cash flow I have, and there's those limitations, but I'm just trying my best to find if there's any alternatives. So I'm speaking to other suppliers and other manufacturers to try to get the same product quality or even better at a quicker production time to at least to reduce the sales cycle in a whole, right? So there's two things I'm trying to do. One, I'm trying to figure out if I can reduce my production times, and two, if I can reduce my shipping time. So I've said it on my channel already, but essentially there's 3 different type of like tiers. Sorry about that, I hope you can't hear that, police sirens. But there's 3 tiers of shipping, right? You've got sea, that's about 35 to 40 days. Then you have rail, that's about 20 to 25 days. Then you have air, where it could be anything from like 10 to 12 to 14 days, right? So ideally, freight is your best bet. However, there's a massive difference there's a price difference per kg from, from sea comparison to freight, right? Because obviously the shipping time, there's a massive difference in how long it takes, right? However, like breaking down my economics right now, it just would blow me out the water based on my economics to ship it via air. However, I have visited rail, because rail is only, from the top of my head, it's about £2 more per unit. And I'll be able to go from my current shipping time via sea, that's about 40 days, down to 25 days. So that will save me almost 15 days, right? That's a great difference. Of course, like in the ideal world, you'd want to have via air, because via air is 12 days comparison to my current shipping. Again, that's 40 days, right? So that's almost 28 days difference, right? So that's almost a month you could save just on that cycle. So it's just annoying because the economics ain't right yet. There's one way that I may be able to do via air, right, to get that cycle down dramatically, and that would be to increase my price, right? So breaking it down, I'd have to increase my price to about maybe £10 ideally, to be able to still hit those targets, and not be kind of tight on margins based on my target CPA, etc. Of course, my target CPA is based on like a 30% margin. Of course, I could essentially drop it down. These are just KPIs that I've set to hit. Of course, they can fluctuate. Ideally, I want to have like a blended CPA, or I have a target blended CPA that I want to hit, right? So, like, again, I'm just weighing up all the options. I'm like, okay, Zach, if you increase your price, that obviously is going to give you, let's say I increase it by £10, that's going to give me £10 worth of room to either allocate that towards marketing or allocate that towards a higher shipping cost that I can then implement into my whole unit economics in a whole, right? However, again, I'm thinking, so anyways, I don't want to, let's stick to the first part. So that's one part of increasing my, reducing, should I say, my sell cycle, right? By trying to get quicker shipping time. So that's one option. So we know potentially I'd have to increase my product cost to £10, let's say. The second option as well, that I think they should work hand in hand, is production time. My production time is 30 days, even 30 to 35 days. Again, that's mental. You know, and this part is the bottleneck that I'm struggling with the most, because I'm thinking, if I can't reduce my shipping time dramatically via the by the freight, then can I at least reduce it on the production end, right? And I keep speaking to other manufacturers in Alibaba, and I just can't get it down. Like, everyone's saying 35 days, 40 days, 30 days, 35. So I'm still trying to figure out, is this just the standard production time? You know, so I'm just going out there, you know, with a template message to all these suppliers saying, listen, like, can you do 20 days? Can you do 20 days? Can you do 20 days? Because even 20 days will reduce it down, you know, an extra 10 days of production time, right? If I can have those 10 days extra, plus, even if I can't afford, or it doesn't make sense to increase my price based on conversions via air, there's also the middle option that I mentioned early on. That's 25 days, right? That's the rail. So even if I can reduce from 40 days to 25 days, I'll save 15 days via rail. And then if we can increase our production from 30 to 20, that's another 10 days. So all in, you're looking at 25 days I can save. You know what I mean? So do you get what I mean? When you break it all down, I weigh up both those options. That's an extra 25 days, almost a month, that I can save. And the reason I'm talking about all of this and why it's frustrating, and I've expressed it, but I thought I'd express it more in detail, because this is what I'm doing, people. I'm rattling my head. As you know, I'm still waiting for these units to come now, and I'm just figuring out, like, Zach, you can't if you're predicting for your brand to grow, and you know what I'm saying, you're going towards that direction, like, and that's what, you know, I'm putting out there, then I need to make sure that I've got a system in place that can help me scale, right? Because again, all this whole sales cycle dictates how much units I can sell a day, right? So to put things into perspective, I hope I'm not going from one thing to the other, because I know I do this, right? So I've got a little calculator here. So let's say my sales cycle, yeah, is 70 days, right? Based on what it is, yeah. So let's say, and my order, my bulk, what I can afford based on my economics, is 500 units, right? I hope you lot can hear me. So, one second. So 500 units, obviously, I'm then going to divide it, right, by my sales cycle to understand how much units I can cost. So if I do 500 divided by 70, the days I have, it leaves me with what? 7.1. Let's just say 8, about 7 units I can sell a day. So when you break that down, and you know, you're a new brand, and you want to scale, and you want to do 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures a month or whatever in profit, when you see that as a bottleneck, it hurts. Do you get what I mean? And it's frustrating, because it's like 7 orders a day. What is that in the grand scheme of things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. However, this is my reality, like, based on the sales cycle. You know what I mean? I am capped at basically 7 units a day, should we say? Because now look at this now. It's just a small thing. But remember, I said now, if I can reduce it from an extra 25 days from 70 and save another 25 days, right? So that will drop it down to 45 days. Remember, our order cycle right now is 500. If I do 500 now divided by 45, that now hits me to 11 orders a day. Do you get what I mean? So we've now already went from 7 to 11. So now we are able to at least hit 10 a day. Do you get what I mean? So something, when you actually break it down, like just getting a production time down and getting your shipping time down can essentially increase my sales from 7 to 11, right? So that's what quick maths, 8, 9, 10. That's 4 sales a day more, and that counts, especially when you're a new brand, right? And you're bootstrapping everything and you're doing everything from scratch, right? So the hardest part for me, I'm struggling with. I've kind of come to the terms with rail is probably the best option. So I for the next cycle, I will reduce my shipping time from 40 to 25. So essentially, I'll save 15, maybe 10 days on that. Great, but again, it's not massively. However, the one that I'm struggling with the most, and is production time. It's production time, and it's not just a production time section. Sorry, people. It's the working with new manufacturers and new suppliers. So when I first got my product, right, I was back and forth with suppliers for ages. Like I went through 4 or 5 samples, and it's part of the game. You have to do it when you're starting a new brand or you're testing. You're going to sell products. You need to test and compare, man. Do you get what I mean? With price and with quality, right? So yeah, like that already itself was super tedious, and thankfully we finally got something that made sense with quality and price, right? And I was glad that part was out of the way. Finally got a supplier that's half decent. Boom, bam. It is what it is. I've just got to work with it. Again, perfectionist is not key. Perfectionism is not the plan. Just start, innit? And that was it. I just like, boom, bam, we started. And thank God, the quality's been alright. And we've made it work for the first cycle, right? So now, like, I having to go speak to suppliers again. And it's like, mate, some of them, like, a lot of them are just saying the same thing, or they're like providing products that they've already got in their catalog that is like bad quality. It's not the materials I want. Do you get what I'm saying? And the whole idea with the products and materials that I went for is allowing me to kind of distinguish myself with what's already out there because of the quality difference, right? Because I could get a cheap quality product, but again, like I'm just gonna be cheap, and people are going to see, and then I can't demand a certain price point if the quality is so bad. Do you get what I mean? So it took me a while to get the actual materials I need, and I got it. So like, yeah, man, having to do all of that again, there's loads of things I'm just rattling my brain with, and things like, obviously I'm back and forth with, AI Claude, of course, like I don't have all the answers. So obviously I'm trying to find out all my other sorry people, my storage ran out. So what was I saying? So now I'm looking at other ways to try to reduce production time. So I'm trying to look into potentially asking my supplier, listen, like if we order the materials and just have them in your factory, for example, do you know what I mean? Will that help at least help reduce production when it comes to, I don't know, putting the components together? I'm not quite sure, because again, like, I'm assuming they might be outsourcing certain parts of the components or the materials elsewhere. So I guess if they have it, because I remember when I was doing the customization stuff on the other order, they were saying, for customization we need to order all the parts of the material up front, because it was too late, I think, for me to do customization. So they said, if you want, we can order all the material today, and then on the next one, at least we'll be ready. But that was just the one part of the customization. However, I didn't have the money for that right at that time. But yeah, again, to say all of that, like, people, I'm just rattling my head, man, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do, because I'm feeling it right now, people, on this cycle. Do you get? I'm feeling it. I've had to wait almost 70 days, man. Not even almost. I am waiting 70 days, and now like we're still got like 25 days in, 20 days in, and I'm just like, I can't keep doing this cycle. Of course, if I have no choice, I have no choice. But I'm just trying to think like, surely there's a way in it, and that's like kind of like my attitude right now. I'm like, surely there's a solution, you know what I mean? Again, we've kind of spoke about production or shipping. Surely there's a way to do it. And it's safe to say all of that, people, that pick your products properly, man. You know what I mean? Like, pick your products properly. Kind of learn from my choices, you know. I don't regret them because, again, this is the product I did my market research, and I have confidence in the product. It's just things like weight, size, margins, you have to all consider. You know, I'd like to say my product still has a decent amount of margin to play with, and there's a big enough TAM for me to make some money. I've said this already. It's not to say this product's going to be my winning product or it's going to be my hero product. And I think this is a good key lesson to take from this, is like, when you're starting a brand or starting anything, sometimes it's just about starting, right? You know, I've been learning these things on the go, right? And I'm going to keep learning. And I think I'm not trying to see it as like, this may be the one, or may not be the one, you know. Again, like for me, I'm looking at it on a brand perspective. I'm building a brand. I've picked a niche, and loads of products are going to run through this brand, to get what I mean. And I've said it already, I'm going to throw things on the wall and see what sticks. However, because something is working, I'm just riding it, get it? Do you know what I'm saying? And this is why, because we got sales, we were profitable, there is a demand, we build a brand, we build some content. We're going to keep rolling, innit? We're going to keep riding it till the wheels fall off. However, you know, it's important when you pick a product, you know what I mean, to really kind of break down everything. And I was aware of it. However, I took the jump, I took the risk, and here we are. Hence why, at the same time, I've mentioned about the drop shipping option, and I've mentioned about thinking of other products that are smaller, lighter, but still have that kind of average order value that I want, with those margins that I'm looking for, with that perceived value that I'm looking for, with that TAM that I'm looking for, with that solves that problem that I'm looking for, to get it at the same time. So like, yeah, man, but it is what it is, people. I just want to jump on it and share this and just kind of express kind of what I'm going through. What do you lot think? Leave a comment. And yeah, man, if you liked it, like, comment, all that stuff. Subscribe if you're interested, if you're trying to build a brand from zero. Because yeah, I just sharing and documenting what it's like for me personally, innit? And if there's anyone else also building a brand, like, I would love to connect with others, because this is a lonely road right now, bro. I'm just on my ones on this one. But yeah, anyways, peace and love. I hope you have a good week, and